Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Nomadic Soulcast. Today I am really happy to welcome my friend Julie. We met in New Zealand where we lived together as a flatmates for a while, and now we both find ourselves back in Europe. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to invite her to my podcast and have a chat. So thank you for joining me, Julie. It's a great pleasure to have you here and it's nice to see you again.
Thank you, Ladislav. Nice to meet you again.
Could you tell me something about you? Where are you from and where do you live now?
Yes, at the moment I live back in Brittany, where I come from, after years of studying and working and traveling abroad as well. So I haven't lived in Brittany since I was 18, so I'm back for a bit more than a year now.
And where did you live before you started to travel? Did you live in France all the time?
To study, I went to different cities in Brittany as well and in Paris. And then I decided to travel and I did a few countries, especially Australia for a year and New Zealand for 4.5 years.
Do you remember the moment when you first felt the call to leave the friends behind and start exploring the world?
Actually, I think it started really early because where I come from, it's very small town. We are like 12,000 inhabitants, and it's by the coast. So we don't have borders with anything else. It's just Brittany and then the ocean. And when I grew up, it was mostly people from Brittany. I haven't seen any foreigners or even people from different regions much. So I felt really fascinated when I could see different people or even English people just coming for holidays. And so it started when I was a child, and even just speaking with someone in English, I felt super amazed and it would make my day. So I think it kept on growing. And also maybe with like series or movies, I could see different cultures. So I decided to learn more English, and then in the end I decided to travel. So I think it was more to learn about different things, different cultures, see how people would just behave or be in different places, because I just knew the same kind of people at my place. There was not much of a mix.
Why specifically Australia and New Zealand? Was it some particular reason for these two countries?
I remember I was really into Australia when I decided to go there. I don't exactly know why Australia. First, it was also because it was really easy to get there, because you could have the working holiday visa. So I liked easy ways to reach a country, and I think I was not too sure of myself at the time. So I also decided to pick a country which is really safe and easy to travel to. And I had also friends who went there, so I was like, okay, if they made it, maybe I can do it myself also.
And how was your first impression in Australia? How was it to live first time somewhere else for a longer time?
At first, I remember I didn't enjoy the first month because it was a bit different, and I couldn't find like my marks, or I don't know how to say, but everything was kind of different, and I didn't have friends at the beginning. So, and I arrived in Sydney also, which I didn't like that much. So it was a bit challenging, and then at some point I just let it go. I think it's when I twisted my ankle. I was in a farm, And then I couldn't decide anymore much for myself. So I just had to let go and follow the people I was with. And then I feel I really entered into the adventure of Australia. And the nature was great also compared to the city where I arrived at the beginning. So I started to enjoy it a lot at that time.
What did you do in Australia? Did you do the work and travel?
Yes, mostly. I worked in farms and a bit in hospitality and traveled a lot. So most of the time, I would say.
So another country where you moved was New Zealand.
Yes.
It was a straight from Australia, or did you travel to Europe again after Australia?
Yes, I went back to Europe for 2.5 years before going to New Zealand. It was mostly to create my own business at the time, which allowed me then to work remotely. So it was really tough for me to come back to France with nothing, like when I came back from Australia, because I had no more job. I was waiting to get my room back in a flat, and after some time, even if you have friends, you haven't really nurtured those relationships anymore, so you need to reconnect with them slowly. And I found it was really challenging to face all those challenges at the same time. So I decided that if I would leave again, I would prepare more things for, like, when I come back, I would feel more at ease. I didn't want to face again, like, to reconnect with everything all together, like all those challenges at the same time.
Did you start your business with some vision that you can do remote work and live everywhere, or wasn't the reason at that time?
It was not exactly the reason, but the main reason is I felt I was struggling with authority a lot, and I felt I wanted freedom and to choose for myself how much I want to work, and also to manage my own time and the money I could earn. So, and then it's bringing the fact that I could work remotely, but it's more coming from me, the fact that I couldn't stand working at one place all the time in the same office. I felt like the building was owning me, and so that's why I decided to choose another type of job, to create my own.
When you were living in France for about 2.5 years, did you already feel a calling to explore other countries again? Or was that sense of curiosity and wanderlust something that developed gradually over time? I mean, after spending a year in Australia, you went back to France before moving to New Zealand. So I'm wondering, did you already have New Zealand in mind back then? Or was it more of a spontaneous decision that came later?
At first, not really. I've heard some friends who went to travel in New Zealand, so I knew it was easy to get there too. But I didn't know that much about New Zealand. I more chose New Zealand because it seemed similar to Australia, like in the same area. And what I love the mindset in Australia, so I was like, maybe it's gonna be similar in New Zealand. So that's a bit why I chose New Zealand. Not for much reason in the end.
So how was New Zealand on the start, if you compare with Australia?
Yes, at the beginning I was constantly comparing, I would say, for a year. I think it's a lot, but I also arrived at the time of the lockdown, so it happened 2 weeks after I arrived. So I was a bit frustrated because what I am more into is about traveling and the nature, not too much about the cities. even if I arrived in Wellington, and it was really nice. I've met nice people there. But yeah, I was a bit frustrated not to travel at the time. So, and then when we could travel again, it was a bit funny too, because I felt people were constantly speaking about their visas and when it's gonna end, and it was very different from the time when I was in Australia, where people were mostly enjoying their time, and during COVID it was of course pretty different. But then I saw that I was staying in the country, and we had the opportunity to stay longer with the visas. It got extended by the government a few times, so I just started to like it more and more, and to have nice friends also, and find some kind of community. So I felt more and more at ease there. And for example, like the mountains, I was not into mountains much at the beginning, and it was not doing much to me. But I could see that years after years in New Zealand, it was growing in me, and I just got to love the country more and more, time after time.
Did you travel a lot around New Zealand, or was also the part of the backpacking, I guess, and part of the traveling?
Yes, I didn't travel the whole time because I stayed for several years. So at some point I felt tired of traveling too. And so I decided to settle down for a few years. But I was every year going away also and exploring for sometimes a few months, because I really like moving and exploring and learning new things too.
And why did you decide to leave New Zealand?
Actually, I feel I didn't choose that much to leave New Zealand. I didn't feel the call to leave New Zealand myself. And it's more that my partner at the time wanted to go back to Europe for the summer. And he took the tickets for both of us. And I remember I had a very strong reaction at the time. I felt maybe not totally prepared to leave and to go back to Europe. But I also wanted to go for the summer. So, I was kind of in between two states. But then when I arrived in Europe, I felt that it was hard for me to move again, because I traveled so much and I didn't have a proper place for years, that for me it became very hard to move and adjust again and again. Like in Australia, I was fine having just me and my backpack. And then I felt it was not enough, so I went to an hostel, and then it was not enough anymore. I needed to have a van, and then a flat, and progressively it just turned out like I need more stability in my life. And so yeah, I stayed, and I also had my own house in Brittany. It's the house of my grandmother, and I felt that it became like the main project for me, and something very essential for me to feel good, like to have my base and be able to travel still, but to know that I have my own base somewhere.
Did you face some cultural differences in New Zealand, or how was different if you compare the attitude of the people in New Zealand and Europe and France, for example?
Yes, I would say it's more relaxed in New Zealand. I feel it's easier to find a community as well and supportive people. Sometimes I was interested in things that I felt I was not judged in New Zealand for that, like even about my ideas or even the way I live. For example, sometimes I face criticism in France for what I do, and I felt in New Zealand it was much more relaxed about that. You can kind of decide more of what you want to do and even try new things, and I feel you would be more easily supported in New Zealand. That's what I would say, the main thing.
So when you lived in New Zealand, you also started some creative project. One of them was your podcast, What My Mom Didn't Tell Me, which I do enjoy. Could you tell me what inspired you in New Zealand to start this podcast?
It's funny because first I didn't have the idea to create a podcast. We just saw that the community radio in Nelson was looking for volunteers, and I believed that they were just looking for people, to make the program or things like that. But anyway, I decided to meet the woman working at the radio, Pania, and she told me, no, actually, we are looking for volunteers to create a show. And then actually, she helped me so well, like just the fact she was talking to me, she was guiding me into my thinking, and I had many ideas of what I would like to create and what kind of people I would like to interview. So that's how I started. And it also came from the fact that in between of my travel in New Zealand, I went back to France for a month. And I remember that people were calling me Madame in France. And, in New Zealand, they don't call you this way much. And I remember laughing so much about it in France. I felt like it was not fitting me, the word madame, that it was, I don't know, some kind of other state, that you should be in. But people looked at me this way, so I really felt there was a gap between how people could perceive me and how I would feel inside of me. So I made my podcast about that. What I feel that maybe I wouldn't have needed as a transmission from, for example, older women or my own mom, to feel like a woman myself and a grown-up, and I don't know, being kind of more mature and confident in life. So that's the angle I chose for my podcast.
Mm-hmm. And how did you reach the people for your podcast?
I think first I was really interested in home birth. So that's where I started with, and I looked for people. I don't know if it's people doing this, but in Nelson you have a quantity of people into alternative ways that it was kind of easy to find people with jobs or activities that you don't easily find in France. And I found this birth doula, and actually I found another one, and they are friends. So, as soon as you start finding one person into this kind of alternative world, you start meeting the other ones also, or they are friends together. So I think that's how I started. Looking for business or people doing things I was interested into, and that I couldn't find in France much.
Did you learn something from talking with people in your podcast?
Definitely. I felt like each interview, each topic really, or each encounter with the people would definitely bring me something and teach me a lot. And I chose topics I wanted to learn more about or get more freedom about, when I wanted to change a belief that was really present inside me or in my family, that I wanted to change. I decided to choose people who would challenge this. And so definitely every time I learned something.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember something what really resonated with you while you were doing the podcast?
Yeah, so definitely in each episode, I would say it resonated. For example, I was amazed when we talked about home birth, how women could be supported to experience it. Because sometimes for me it was something it's something I've never heard in France much, so it's not supported by the government neither. So it resonated in this way because it's bringing the freedom to the woman to birth how she wants it. Otherwise, about aging and dying, it was also great, and grieving, because I felt like, I don't know if it's in France, but in my family at least, it's very heavy around grieving, and you have death doula in New Zealand, and they are supporting the families or the person who is about to die. And I felt it could be also a celebration. It doesn't have to be that heavy. Of course it's sad, but it's also about letting the people live, celebrating the people who are here, and then opening the space for the new ones to come. So this was very strong to me. And also about perimenopause, it was super interesting because I've interviewed Alejandra, and it was the first time ever that I found a woman who was really happy about perimenopause, and she felt beautiful and at ease with her body. And I've never heard of that in France, for example. It's always like you have to stop aging, you have to put your cream, you have to take pills to prevent your body to just kind of collapse. And she was the opposite of that. She was like, I'm transforming and I love who I become. This really touched me because I would like to see myself this way in the future.
Mm-hmm. You also often speak in your podcast about embodiment and coming back to the body. How did that connection begin for you, and what roles does it play in your daily life now?
I really feel that to prevent overthinking and not finding any answers, I feel it's super important that when you have lots of feelings or emotions or thoughts, and sometimes it's not even really guiding you, I feel it's important to go back to your own sensations right now, how you feel into your body, and I feel this is truly guiding you in the end. So that's why I feel there is sometimes like a switch that is needed to be able to choose your kind of direction or your actions also, and how you not want to feel, but kind of in the end. I feel it's about choosing also how you want to be and feel.
Do you have some technique? What does help you to be more connected with your body? Or what does help you to connect more with your body?
I think I learn more through hypnosis, because I am into hypnosis a lot. And actually I can't not speak about hypnosis when I speak about that, because it's a technique I've kind of learned to just go back to your body, your own sensations, because what makes you feel sometimes bad is that you overthink and you are not in the present anymore. So there is a gap between what is and what happens inside of you. And to feel better, or to just choose, for example, you go back to, you're like, okay, I listen to myself. What is my body telling me? What kind of sensations do I have? Do I have any tensions? Can I put a word also on the feeling I feel right now? And it's you, because sometimes what is annoying you is just something kind of tiny you can't really put words on, but if you stop and you kind of let it grow inside of you, of course it's something uncomfortable. You don't like this kind of feeling you try to suppress, but maybe you're like, okay, I'm gonna let it grow. And then when it grows, I start understanding a bit more what it is about sometimes. You'd let it express itself, and I don't know, you're in your body, and sometimes it can just the fact of expressing itself, you're gonna feel better because you understand what it was about. Or you can choose to act towards this feeling also. I don't know if it's too clear.
What you were talking about, it's more like self-hypnosis?
Actually, there is self-hypnosis. The hypnosis I am learning about and that I experienced many times is called hypnotherapy. It's a type of hypnosis that has been developed in Brittany and that goes through the body. So the thing is, we use the hypnosis state to let your body speak itself, because your body knows already what's going on. So it's more to kind of let your brain a little bit asleep. It's still there. It's still controlling if it needs to, but it's more like relaxed and on the side of your head. And then so you can do it yourself or with a therapist, and it's about entering into this state and then asking your body if you are ready and if you feel like it. How do you feel about this or that, or how it makes you feel when you remember a memory, for example. And then your body doesn't have the inhibition of your brain, which is trying to protect you, and your body can just express itself. And just sometimes the fact of letting your body express something, you feel already better because it needed to be heard from you.
For me and maybe for other people, the hypnosis sounds like that there is some guy and this person is taking control over you. Maybe it's just my imagination, but this is what I heard from the past about that. So is there many different kind of hypnosis, or is just my misunderstanding of this healing technique?
I think there are different kind of hypnosis, you're right. And maybe some are the way you described it. But the one I practice is that we don't force anyone to be in this state. It's yourself putting yourself into the hypnosis state. And it's extremely important that the therapist is not taking over you, like power over you, because we don't want anything from you, but that you feel at ease and that you trust. Because if you don't trust the therapist, then you're not gonna do anything. You're gonna just block yourself, shut down, and then the work can't really happen. So I would say it's pretty gentle. It's yourself entering in this state. We just make it, we help you, we support you to enter in this state. But if you don't feel safe, you get out of it. So this therapy is, I would say, is pretty gentle, and we don't force you. And if your body wants to express itself, it can. And if it doesn't, it just doesn't, and it's okay also.
Mm-hmm. Do you also use another technique for regulating your nerve system? Do you like yoga, for example, or exercising, or is something powerful for you?
Yes, I would say I go to the gym and I feel it's super interesting for releasing tensions and like mostly the stress. Like if I'm stressed about work, I would go to the gym and feel much more relaxed afterwards. I feel it's just like evacuating the load of energy, the extra energy away. Otherwise, I would say nature is really a good key also, because even if you think, like, even if I think I feel good in the city, when I go to nature, I feel like I'm more at ease, and I feel I belong more to nature also, and it makes me feel much more peaceful. And I think it's about it.
So would you like to continue with your podcast in the future, or was just one-time project for you?
It's not necessarily about the podcast itself, but I have a project in mind, which is I would love to interview my family a bit more. Because when I bought the house of my grandmother, I realized that when I have a cousin around or anyone from my family around, everybody has their own memories about the house, and I feel it's super interesting to maybe collect the story of everybody to remember our family. And also there is only one sister of my grandmother who is still alive, and I think it used to be a very different time back then. So I would be very interested to interview her, and that she would explain to me how it used to be, so that we can keep track on what happened before, because it's also related to hypnosis, because I guess we carry feelings in our bodies that we got from our parents or grandparents, and I think it's a good way to connect everything, like the memories and the feelings and the history, and also the love from the family.
Will be project just for you, for your better understanding of the parents dynamic and family dynamic, or would you be considering also to put that publicly? But I guess it depends on your family. But is there some potential to publish, or is just for your internal understanding?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that yet. I'm thinking to do it more for myself, but you see that the podcast in New Zealand was also more for myself. So then maybe it could be interesting for other people too. I don't know yet, but I think it would be something pretty personal.
How big do you think has an impact our family dynamic from a past on ourselves in the present?
I think it has a big impact, and it always they will always have one, because even if sometimes I act in a way I think it's coming just from myself, I can see that it's also coming from them. So, but it's in a good way. Yeah, lots of things are coming to my mind, but I believe it's a mix between what we got from our family and what we choose to explore, and what we choose to express from what we get from them.
What do you think, or do you ever feel that the pressure to constantly grow or work on yourself or about the self-development can actually pull you away from presence and stillness?
I see what you mean through that, but I feel pretty grounded for some time. And I like to work on myself, but I don't make it something I need to achieve. Like, of course, I want to feel good, but I think I feel good most of the time. So I'm not pushing into some kind of direction. I just keep my kind of practice with myself, listening to myself, try to find what guides me or what just to listen to my own feelings, like if I feel like doing something or not. But I don't feel like I'm trying to fix myself or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's more like towards my own joy, my own accomplishment, fulfillment, and how I feel.
Mm-hmm. How do you move through the periods when direction, inspiration, or meaning seem to fade?
Sometimes when it happens, I think I believe that there is something that's going to happen anyway. So it's more about creating the space for things to happen instead of forcing anything. So I'm like, okay, nothing much maybe is happening right now. So I kind of stay back a bit and see if opportunities come to me.
Mm-hmm. What fascinates you the most right now in life, creation, or in the world around?
I don't know.
Do you have some project, for example? What are you working at this moment?
Mm-hmm. Like my personal projects?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have many actually, I feel. For example, I am now a model for art classes, which I really love doing. I also work on fixing the house of my grandma that I bought. I keep on working as a freelancer. I train in hypnosis, and I do a bit of massages, and I would love to learn a new technique of massage. So I feel I have different kind of topics in my life that I'm kind of working on, and maybe I get inspired from all of that, everything which is feeding me at the moment and making me happy.
Mm-hmm. And what does freedom mean to you in this phase of life?
I think it changed a bit in the past years, because before I think it was more about feeling no restriction. And now I think freedom is more about choosing, because I feel I'm going much deeper into my life or exploring much deeper things when I'm choosing truly like my path, or I could just be on the surface of everything. That's how I used to be a bit. And in the end, I get much more joy when I'm entering very deeply into something and getting involved and committed to what I do. Mm-hmm. So I would say it is what freedom is for me at the moment, and also being able to move and travel if I want to, but also settle down if I want to. Just follow what makes me feel happy, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Is there something you wish more people understood? Something you once needed to hear, but you didn't?
What I still feel here in Europe is I would have liked more feeling that people would understood more the benefit of being into a community or the sense of community. I really feel a lot of joy and love and sense of belonging when I feel part of a community. And I feel most of the time it's a bit more individualist. So that's what I'm working on also. And I would love people to understand that maybe a bit more. Maybe they do, but I don't see it. I don't know. But I would love this feeling to grow.
How do you recognize that it's time to let go of one path and take another? And do you rely more on intuition or more on reason and your mind?
I'm not sure. I feel like I need to let go of some path. I feel maybe more like I want to do something different. So it's a bit the other side of it. Sometimes also I feel a bit afraid of doing something, like this interview, for example, today. But it's how I feel also that it's something important for me, or maybe I will get somewhere else thanks to that. So I also follow what scares me a bit.
What would you tell to someone who feels the call for change, but it's afraid to start?
Yeah, I think there are many reasons. So I would like to ask this person more about what she or he wants and the blockages as well. I think it's also important to have at least one person maybe who can support you. I feel support is important, but if you don't have support, then it's really to feel what's important for you inside of you. I wouldn't like to feel myself that I have big regrets about something, so I would encourage the person to be in touch with their own emotions, feelings, and not find any excuses, because I think it's really easy to do that. But yeah, in the end, it's your life, and I feel it's a bit sad not to live your own dreams.
Do you have something, what would you say to your younger self if you will be 20 years old again?
Yeah, I think I would tell myself to listen to myself more, to follow my dreams, to allow myself to dream and more, because the more you dream, the more the dreams come to you also. And also not to stay stuck. If you are stuck, maybe it's because I need support from someone else, or I need to talk with someone, or find something that which would allow me to go further. That's what I would say, and to let go maybe of what people would say about me and just follow my own track.
What dream or vision are you carrying into the future, even if it's still evolving?
What really drives me is I want more the sense of community and support, and also to share more with people and to be very close from people. So, and also free to express myself and ourselves. So it's something that makes me choose into my life, like choosing to have a house, to be able to welcome my friends, choosing to have a job that can allow me to meet also people and different cultures. I feel I want to be there for my friends, and it's not a very accurate vision, but that's what drives me to connect with people a lot and be there for them. Yeah.
What would you advise me if I wouldn't be part of any communities and I would felt lonely and I will want to integrate or meet new people?
Yeah, that can be challenging for sure. First, it's what I'm telling myself, and that's maybe what I would tell you, is to believe that it can happen and that those people exist. And I would start maybe doing things that I really care about. Like for me, I love entering into the art, for example. And or singing also. And then it makes me meet more people into what I love doing. But I believe it starts with believing that those people exist.
Thank you very much. So we are done with this part of the interview, and we could do the quick fire round, this or that.
Right.
So city or nature?
Maybe nature.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Freedom or stability?
Freedom.
Plan ahead or go with the flow?
Go with the flow.
Heart or mind?
I would say body.
Take it out or keep it inside?
Take it out.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Create or observe?
Create.
Comfort or growth?
Growth.
Adventure or peace?
Adventure.
Mountains or ocean?
I say ocean, but I love mountains now too.
Reading or writing?
Reading.
Silence or music?
Silence.
Early morning or late night?
Late night.
Intuition or logic?
Intuition.
Solo travel or traveling with friends?
Solo travels. Sorry for my friends.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. Thank you very much for your time and for the interview, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much to you. It was super nice. Thank you for interviewing me.
Thank you.